Hello, everyone. This is episode 13, take two. So hopefully those who quickly joined on the other video are discovering that there's a new video. So my connection, I forgot to plug in my Ethernet and I have a slow connection in here. So welcome. This is the Friday before the holiday week. So there's kind of I don't know about you, but there's kind of a sparkle in the air everywhere that I'm going. Everybody's exceptionally nice at CVS and at the drive-through and some things like that. And so it's been really nice. It's just really nice to be in the energy of, I don't know, everybody's excitement, anticipation, even though it was, a little bit old for anticipation, or maybe we're just anticipating different things these days. So welcome, everyone. Great. I see that you guys found me. My connection wasn't strong enough before. So glad you found me. So welcome to the Joyful Business Live Show. This is episode 13, I think. And today I'm going to be talking about year-end rituals to complete the year and move on with confidence and satisfaction into the new year. I am going to share with you my 4 favorite rituals, things that are really simple but really important to do. First of all, I'm going to do a couple things while we're waiting for people to join us. I'm going to pick a card. That's what I'm looking down. I have a card deck, a new one. This one. And I don't have my box handy, but I'm pretty sure this is the Super Attractor series or Attractor series by Gabrielle Bernstein. These are fun cards. I will show you. The one I picked says, directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. Is that just the perfect card or what? It's all about focusing on more of what you want. Focusing on the joy flow, right? Focusing on what you want more of. Welcome, everyone. So glad to see you all. Happy Friday. So that's a good card. I'll show you that card one more time. Directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. I'm curious if that card is actually right side, can you read it or is it backwards? Curious how that works. I know sometimes I've done videos and everything's kind of reversed. All right, so I'd love to check in with you and see, what are you celebrating for the week already? What are your joy flow sightings for this week? I'd love for you to put things, if you're here live on the show, I'd love for you to put, where's the joy flowing for you this week in your comments. And the joy flow, it's a little bit different than gratitude. I mean, gratitude, you can have gratitude for anything. Joy flow is truly like acknowledging where are things flowing? Where is it going well? What is bringing you joy, abundance, beauty? What is making you smile with delight? Where's the creativity showing up? And to me, this is a process of training your brain. It's like the more you train your brain to look for evidence of beauty and abundance and kindness and love and success and financial flow and things are going well in the world. I think it's so incredibly important because it's so easy to get our brains very entrained because that's what we're normally kind of wired for. It's what we've grown up through the centuries being wired for danger, right? Wired for the bear that's going to attack us or the lion or depending on where you live. I love it. So Brenda's posting, her book is coming out this week. New experience, attending a live broadcast, things like that. Love for you to post like what's going well for you. One of the things that's bringing me joy is I have a new light in my, I'm looking over at my light, a new, it's not a selfie light, I forgot what it's called, but it's a big bright white light to help lighten up that side of the room. And that was super easy to put together. I went to the holidays, I've got a lot of light energy. I went to the holiday lights last night with a friend, and that was just, felt so much like Christmas, going to the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, seeing the amazing lights, lights coordinated with music. I mean, it was just like beauty and, it was cold and dark out and it just felt like Christmas. It's been fun to have, new clients popping in. People are like, I want to be ready and set for the new year. It's been fun to do my books and say, I've had my best year in 10 years, which is something that I'm really grateful for. Having my 18-year-old son home from college after his first semester has been mostly really good. And it's just nice to have those moments of reconnecting with him. And says, I started a spreadsheet of things that I'm grateful for each day. Fabulous. Yes. It's so, it's just important to look for those things that we're grateful for and really train our brain to scan the horizon. I love to scan the horizon for abundance and signs of abundance, because it is so easy to get caught in oh my God, what's going on with the economy? Where is it going to go? It's been 10 years. It needs to crash. I'm afraid of next year, or whatever your personal situations are. And it's really easy to just start going there and looking for evidence of things not working. When in fact, I love, like if I'm sitting in a cafe and I overhear somebody, two people talking, and one of them's like, I just sold a new house. You can tell they're a real estate agent. Houses are moving. Or somebody says, I got a new contract. Or you see stories coming through Facebook about successes. I love to celebrate other people's successes because that means things are expanding, they're moving. People are connecting and supporting each other in that way. So yeah, that's a good one to look for. So definitely put in there in the chat, what's your joy flow sightings? And I also like to just look for the special little moments, those little moments that might not be huge successes in somebody else's eyes, but they're just little moments that really matter. And the more you capture them, I love to write them down. It makes a big difference. All right, great. I see. And yeah, she's got some great suggestions here. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, just looking here at some of my notes. I wrote down a couple of things. I'm going to jump right into this time of year. It's an interesting energy this time of year, because I know that for me and a lot of my clients, it's like we're ready to snuggle up, right? We're ready to close down the office for a while. We're ready to take a break. And we're ready to go into cocooning mode and reflecting mode and dreaming mode. And planning energy has kind of a different energy to it. So what I typically find is that in December, it's more about completion and more about reflecting and imagining and dreaming. And then once I'm kind of through the new year, then I get into the planning mode more wholeheartedly, and the planning mode of, okay, what am I going to create this year, and making choices, and where's my focus going to be? I think lots of times we collapse it all together, and you need time for that completion, and you need to go with your natural rhythm. And for each of us, it's a little bit different. So really pay attention to your natural rhythm. Are you just bursting with visions and ideas, and you're ready to capture them and get them out on paper? I've got a solution for that. Are you really in that dreamy, more imagination, cocooning kind of energy? Yeah, so just notice where your energy is and how it shifts. Yeah, so it's, I'm just kind of looking at my notes here. To me, January has the natural energy of, it just, there's something about flipping over the calendar. I know we don't flip calendars anymore for the most part, but flipping over that calendar to January just brings with it that new energy. Remembering, we're constantly reminded, oh, don't write 2019, write 2020. Certainly the energy of going into a new decade and feeling those fresh possibilities, and even with curiosity and anticipation of what's going to happen in the world and what's going to happen to technology. We look at what's happened over the last 10 years. Imagine what's going to happen over the next decade. So it's a natural rhythm of expansion, and we're not quite there yet. So, and whatever it is that you're experiencing, what I want you to do is just notice, because it's you're going to have your own rhythm, right? So it's not wrong to plan now, and it's not wrong to dream now and be in reflective mode. just notice your own rhythm. That's what's incredibly important for all of this. All right. So let me share with you my 4 favorite rituals to complete the year end. The first one may surprise you a little bit, but really, if you think about it, it's not surprising. But it's a ritual of cleaning and organizing. All right. It might not be what you necessarily were like, oh man, that doesn't sound very like a fun ritual. You can make it fun. I actually wait till all of my calls are done for the year. And then I got to put on the great music, turn on the lights. It's like you just got to make it fun. And it's like I just start with a little pile, because if I look at the whole room that has accumulated everything over the year or the last 6 months or so, it can be daunting. But start with one little section. And it is, what I'll say is it's really hard to create something new and look at fresh possibilities when you have energetically all of these things, all these piles and papers and stuff that's accumulated in your office or around you holds energy. And so they can really hold, even if it was the greatest year ever, it's still older energy. It's still energy that's it will be from last year. And lots of times it's a lot of clutter, right? And the clutter accumulates. I know for me, I'm so visual that I just got way too much visual stimulation now, and I always have to do a big annual clean out. Usually I do it twice a year. So, and there's also the ritual part of it is there's an intention behind it, that intention of cleaning, of organizing, getting the fresh calendars up on the wall, getting the fresh calendar, my joyful business plan put together and my fresh notebook. It all is very symbolic of this fresh energy. And it's almost like a permission slip to have a fresh start and, like a do-over, if you want, or do it again and do it even better. So I love looking at it like that. And to me, that's what the cleaning, organizing really signifies. And even when your office is full of good things, my office is full of ideas and, outlines from teleclasses that I've led and webinars that I've led and Joyful Business Lives and journals and sticky notes and markers and creative supplies, and it's all yummy, good stuff that I love. And, it all starts getting out of place and just becomes overwhelming. And it's, it's like I need to find everything a home or a new home. So I like to find some time, I can tell this Sunday, the energy's coming up for this Sunday to be my designated clean and organized day for my office. It's just time to throw it out. You might find after Christmas or after New Year's is your time. But it's amazing when you do that fresh energy, get that fresh energy, call it into you by doing something physical. I've led these programs called 30-day passion projects where clients will work on passion projects that they want to focus on for 30 days. And I would say at least half of the people, I've had hundreds of people, 100 people who've gone through, I think I've done it about a dozen times. And probably half the people when we start, they start by cleaning and organizing like it. They just can't not do it. So it really is proven that it just makes a difference. If you hear something that you like or something you love or something really resonates, please give me some hearts or some likes or make comments down below. I always love to know what resonates with you. So it's a way of giving me feedback, not just good feedback, and cheerleading, which is, I love the love. But I also love to know what really resonates with you, because that helps me as I plan future episodes and know what you're thinking and how things are landing. All right. So the second ritual is, this one's really different from what we were just talking about. This is, the second ritual is about acknowledging and creating a ritual around acknowledging and letting go of disappointments. I went through a period where I did a ton of grief work for about a year. Grief in relationships, it was after I went through my divorce. And then I started going through different relationships with each of my parents, with each of my kids. And what were the disappointments? What were the celebrations that weren't acknowledged? I ended up going through it with my business. I've been in business for almost 20 years, and I went through a whole cycle where I looked at, what were the disappointments in my business, big and small? What were the successes that I never acknowledged? So and it's profound. I mean, it is profound. It's amazing how much, in particular, like disappointments or things didn't go the way you thought, or ideas didn't come to fruition. Maybe you never did that big idea, or you never wrote the book that you wanted to write. And it's a disappointment, right? And each of those ideas and projects and dreams all have an energetic thread, okay? We're talking a lot about energetic threads today, but they all have an energetic thread. And if you don't acknowledge them and have a ritual for letting go, then it's just like the clutter in your office. It's like you've got this energetic clutter of disappointments and ideas that didn't come to fruition. I know lots of times clients will plan a year to be a certain way, and then they might get sick or have an unexpected illness, or maybe somebody in their family. I know last year I was gung-ho to start off January. I had this massive January planned of all these cool projects I was going to create, and my mom was having hip surgery at the end of the month. I had it all planned out, and she ended up in the hospital unexpectedly twice before the hip surgery ever came. So I took a ton of time off last January. Didn't start out at all the way I thought. Did some disappointment forgiveness work, grief work at that time, so I was able to move on and move through it. And like I said, I still had the best year I've had in a really long time. I teach this to my clients, and I teach this in the Joyful Business Studio. I did a whole class on creating really claiming everyday grief, because it's that powerful. And I do a forgiveness ritual. I like to use the doTERRA essential oil. There's a roller called Forgiveness. They also have a regular essential oil bottle called Forgiveness. And there is something about it when I smell it. It's that it's almost like the sadness of Christmas. The sad part of Christmas or something is what it takes me to. And like long lost memories. I really feel that when I smell it. And so I actually do a daily ritual of this, but it's really good to do at the end of the year, and just make that list of the disappointments, all that stuff that's that you didn't acknowledge, the systems that fell apart, oh my gosh, it took me like 9 months to buy a new computer because I did all these other things. And that might seem like, that's really silly. That's not really a grief, but it's a little grief, right? It's a little disappointment. Maybe your virtual assistant didn't work out and you've had trouble finding a new one. That's like it's a frustration. It's a grief. It keeps you from being your best self and your most creative self, or being in your creative power. I'm thinking of other types of griefs. Maybe you didn't get the client, or I know in the coaching training company that I went through, in my coaching community, they were looking for new leaders, new trainers. And so a lot of people found out yesterday whether they were accepted as one. They were only taking a small amount. So a lot of people didn't make it. And so there's some grief in the community around that. And, grief, unexpressed grief can lead to, this deep, profound sadness, shame, worthlessness. And if it's not expressed, it just builds. And again, some of these things, like not getting a client or not becoming a leader, might seem like, they're not, like somebody died kind of grief, or divorce kind of grief, or bankruptcy kind of grief, but they're nonetheless, they're still grief. And I've just learned to really look for those, and that the more you look for it, again, it's like you're cleaning out your energetic clutter, that is stopping your energy. So anyways, I think you get the idea of that. And I'd love to hear if that resonates for some of you. I know when I did a class on this back in, I think it was August, in the Joyful Business Studio, everybody was excited about the class. They really wanted to know the information, and they were really, really nervous about it. And they were a little bit afraid to come to the call, I found out later, because they all thought, oh my God, we're all just going to cry on the phone, on the webinar, and everybody's going to be in tears or something. And it actually was incredibly, incredibly healing and uplifting, and a relief for people to acknowledge the things and let go of the things that they really haven't spoken to anyone that they'd held on to. So that's part of the rituals. And it takes courage and it takes vulnerability to be able to go there. It's kind of easier to do something physical, like clean your office. But to really sit down and do that forgiveness work and be willing to acknowledge those disappointments and even acknowledge your celebrations, which is where we're going to go next. So my third favorite ritual, which you guys already know, it's a bigger version of Joy Flow sightings, but it's really sitting down and acknowledging what are your successes for the year and your celebrations. I use this sheet this is the Creative Mind Map, successes, milestones, celebrations. It's in the Joyful Business Plan. So this is my version, my planner that I use with all my clients. And it starts out with that particular sheet. And then it has all these circles where you write down, kind of like you were scanning for your griefs. Now you're scanning for all your successes. And the successes can be favorite clients that you've been working with. Successes can be new clients that were kind of a big deal. Maybe it was speaking engagements. It might be, I know there was one year where I counted up my trips to the beach had something to do with the water. Like every business trip and friend trip had something to do with the water somewhere. And I think I went on 12 trips, which I thought was so cool that it was almost like every month I was by the water, which is a really big goal of mine. It can be conferences that you went to, learnings, trainings. So it can be outward accomplishments, things that you did, but it could also be in the inner work. I have an outward celebration of I've been doing the Joyful Business Live show for since June now, and I have an inner celebration of really embracing my self-authority at a deeper level and being willing to be committed to my visibility in a bigger way. And that's a personal success, right? It's an inner being success. So you want to look for those and capture them. And what I like to do is to keep this around for like a week, because you will discover more and more things. One of the things that's on my celebration map, mind map, is I bought a new Mac this year. Actually, I bought a Mac, so I became a Mac girl, a woman who owns a Mac, and that was a really big deal, not only financial wise and the commitment, but also buying a new computer and also saying, you know what, I want to streamline my work, and that was part of the new systems that I wanted to create. So it can be things like that. It might be that you buy a new iPhone, and that you needed to upgrade from your 6, into the whatever, 11, whatever you end up doing. Or maybe you took, I'm thinking of Brenda here, she went to Costa Rica, I can imagine that's on her map. She went to the Creative Business Retreat by the Sea with me in October. I always put my retreats and places I travel on there, people that I meet or friends that I have adventures with. And then you get this really complete picture of your year. And not only is it good, like, because we've all read and heard, gratitude and appreciation, and that really changes, it changes your, the way that you look at the world. But doing it for the entire year, it really shifts how you look at your year and how you look at yourself in relationship to the year. Most of the time, people look at the year and say 2019, yeah, it was a good year, but I didn't write the book, but I didn't lead that retreat in Bali, but I didn't accomplish this, but I didn't get the money, but I didn't do this. And they look at all the things they didn't do. And when you do this particular ritual and really add in there, like on my list is, I spent most of January being available for my parents. And that, as hard as that was and stressful as it was in my business and also for my mom, it was a really, it was a celebration, that I was actually able to be there for them and really help out and give in that way. And that, meant a lot to them. It meant a lot to me. Maybe you went through something really tough and you wouldn't think of it as a celebration, but yet it is a celebration of your strength and your perseverance or your resilience. Yeah. So it will totally shift your year, and then you're bringing that energy into 2020, so that it's like you're bringing your resilience, your strength, fully acknowledging when something was a big deal, like you had a success. And so often it's like we accomplish something, we create this amazing website, we get a few accolades, and then we're like moving on to the next thing, and we don't fully celebrate like what it took to create that website, or what it took to get new bio photos, or what it took to put together a new program, things like that. So being able to bring that energy really will shift the energy. So then as you go to create 2020 and this new year and this new decade, you're bringing like fresh, yummy, clean energy, expansion. Like the expansion is really able to happen because of that. So yeah. All right. And last but not least, just looking at the time, is the fourth ritual is to let yourself dream and imagine. And if you've got the planning energy and you're ready to go, absolutely do that. And give yourself time to just imagine. That is one of your most powerful systems in your body, is the power to imagine. Studies have shown that what you imagine is just as strong in your body as doing something for real. In fact, your body can't even tell the difference between doing something in your imagination and actually doing it for real. We've heard lots of stories about basketball players who that's how they practice. They visualize shooting, the baskets, or making, the golfers making the hole-in-ones and things like that. It's the same kind of thing. It's okay to sit on the couch, sit outside, go for a walk in nature, and just dream and reflect and imagine. And that's incredibly powerful to give yourself that time to be able to do that. Again, these are 4 of my favorite rituals: clean and organize. Do your, what are you acknowledging and letting go of, that everyday grief that's happened throughout your year, and then doing forgiveness. I actually have a whole forgiveness ritual. I think I shared that on another call. And then the fourth one is, and then the third one is celebrations and accomplishments, and really looking at that fully and deeply for yourself. And then the fourth one is give yourself time to dream and imagine and go to the places. I'll be sending some things out at the beginning of the year to help you go to some of those stretching places. I'm going to have a really neat creative worksheet around 10 times it. It's called 10 times it. And so it might be 10 times the money, 10 times the ease, 10 times the support. So we're going to play with that towards the beginning of the year. A couple of things to let you know are coming up, or actually today, let me let you know, if you're on this call live today, the Joyful Business Plan. If you don't have that, that is all sorts of cool. I've talked about it. You probably see my emails if you're on my list, but all sorts of great mind maps, creative mind maps for creating your business plan in a way that is fun and flowing and easy. I give you lots of ideas about how to do it. Get those ideas, all those creative dreams and imaginings and visions out onto paper. And then there's a process to decide which ones are you going to commit to first. And then how do you keep it alive throughout the entire year? To me, that's always the key. I've seen so many plans that are really fun to dump your ideas into, and then you just kind of put it away on a shelf and never look at it again. And this is set up so that you'll actually bring it out throughout the year. You can go check that out at Joyful Business Plan. And if you get it today is actually the lowest price. It's the ending of the lowest price that it will be all season. Yeah, I highly encourage you to go to joyfulbusinessplan.com and check that out. All right. And then what I want to share as I wrap up here, so many good things. Yes. Yeah, watch for some things. Make sure you're on my email list. If you haven't gone over to joyfulbusiness.com, make sure you're on my email list, because we've got some really fun things coming out at the beginning of the year. I've got a Scripting for Abundance and Success virtual workshop that's going to happen on one Saturday in January. And that's where we're going to use the power of scripting, which is like journaling and writing as though it's already happening, in all these different areas of your life and your business. It's really been incredibly powerful for me. I use it a lot over the years, but I've been doing it pretty concentrated over the last 6 months or so. So we're going to do a whole workshop around that. So that's going to be really fun. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, or if you're listening to this a little bit later. I wish all of you happy holidays. I hope you really get a chance to be able to be in that dreaming, reflecting, imagining, beautiful cocooning energy for a while. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year. All right. Cheers, everyone. All right. Bye-bye.